What's up, y'all? It's your boy Steph, back with another reaction. This time we have Creepypasta Jr. Something strange happened on Christmas. Creepypasta, uploaded December 26, 2018, which is the day right after Christmas. That's what's up. Down in the description will be a link to Creepypasta Jr.'s channel, along with a link to this original video so you guys can see it for yourselves without my commentary. Without further ado, let's get into it. I told y'all about these videos he be putting out. Whenever they have strange in the title, it's usually good as fuck.
My fiance and I had just recently moved into our very first house. It's not extravagant by any means. Just a small 3-bedroom house with a decent-sized kitchen, living room, and it even came with a nifty fireplace.
A house is a house.
When we were shopping for houses, something about this one just stood out to us. We couldn't quite put our finger on it. But it didn't just feel like a house, but more like a home, you know? We couldn't let this opportunity slip by.
Yeah.
So we took it. We finished moving into the house early November and didn't finish unpacking until it was already December. My fiance Kate and I were both super excited to spend our first Christmas in the new house. We had gone out and bought a ton of decorations. We spent a week straight stringing lights, hanging wreaths, and putting up a tree. Even though we kind of overdid it, we were both very satisfied with the results.
It be like that.
A couple days after setting up the decorations, Kate got a phone call. It was from her parents. We had moved quite a long distance away from them, and she hadn't seen them for quite some time. I think they sort of resented me for stealing their daughter away from them.
It be like that.
They were calling her to ask if she wanted to spend Christmas with them this year. They told her that they could only afford one plane ticket, however. She declined right off the bat, and when she told me the news later that evening, her and I had a long discussion about her going to see her family. I convinced her that we'll have many Christmases together, but she should spend some time with her parents while she can.
I tell her to go.
I had to work right up to Christmas Eve anyways, so I told her to go for it.
Yeah.
She thanked me, and even though I would be alone on Christmas, I tried to make myself feel better by telling myself I just gave her a great Christmas present. I dropped her off at the airport the Friday before Christmas while on my way to work. Halfway through my shift, she called to confirm she had landed. I finished my shift and made it home that evening. Walking through the front door by myself was weird. Kate and I had been apart from each other before, but being alone in this house for the first time without her was disheartening. I stared at the shining tree in my living room for just a moment, before making myself a TV dinner and spending the night watching TV.
It be like that.
After a couple hours, I turned off the TV and headed to bed.
Yep.
The next morning when I woke up, something strange happened. As I was getting ready for work, I found that my front door was wide open.
Ooh.
When I stepped into the living room, I stared at it for a moment. I'm not sure why, but seeing my front door open like that didn't seem to register right away.
Shock.
Only after a couple of seconds did I walk over and shut it.
Check the house.
I then proceeded to spend my morning wandering around my house looking for any sign of a break-in.
Get a weapon.
Maybe I had left the door unlocked last night and the wind had pushed it open, I thought. I left for work, and when I got home that night, nothing seemed out of place. The strange occurrence quickly faded from my mind as I got ready for bed. That night, while I slept, I kept having nightmares about someone breaking into my house and stealing everything I owned.
Could be a sign.
I was suddenly jolted awake by the sound of a door closing.
Ooh.
I wasn't sure if the sound came from my dream or from the actual living room.
It don't matter. Check.
I got up from my bed and crept over to my closet where I keep my loaded, fully automatic baseball bat.
What?
I slowly cracked open my bedroom door.
You playing around.
Only the dim glow from my Christmas tree illuminated the short hallway. I stepped into the hallway, nervously gripping the bat.
You deserve whatever you get.
I peeked around the corner to my living room. Nothing was there. I sidestepped over to my kitchen and looked around. There was no one to be found. I turned on the lights to my living room and went back to bed. The next morning, I stepped out into my living room expecting to have been robbed. But nothing was missing. My tree was still there and all of my stuff had been untouched.
Get some cameras.
I was about to write off the last 2 nights as just weird occurrences until I noticed something wrong.
Your house might be haunted.
The lights in my living room had been turned off. But I wasn't the one who turned them off.
You're alone in the house,
I
right?
quickly walked out of my house, got into my car, and called the police. When I explained the situation, they told me they'd send a car as soon as they could. It took them almost 30 minutes to arrive, and I was worried I was going to be late for work. I told them about my front door, the strange noises, and the lights. The officers looked at me sternly, and then mentioned that someone was probably looking to rob me last night. They took a look around my house, opening every door in the process. However, they came up empty-handed. They told me to call if I experienced anything more. I thanked them, and they left. On my drive to work, I called Kate and told her what was happening. She asked me if I was all right, and I told her that I was. She suggested getting a hotel for a couple of days until she got back, but I told her that wouldn't be necessary. I finished work for the day and made it home that night. As soon as I stepped through the front door, I turned on all of the lights and spent a few hours just looking around.
She don't think you man enough.
There truly was no sign of anyone else being in my house aside from me. Since I had Christmas Eve and Christmas off, I decided that I would simply stay awake all night watching TV in the living room. The night was as uneventful as you would expect.
I'd hope.
It wasn't until the sun started to creep into my window that I decided to head to bed. Since I slept during the day, I hoped that nothing strange would happen, but I was wrong.
I bet.
I woke up around 5 p.m. and wandered out into my living room. When I did, I saw something that made me race back to my bedroom and call the police. All of the ornaments on my Christmas tree had been smashed.
Damn.
The police arrived, and I explained to them again that someone keeps breaking into my house.
Get some cameras.
I'm not sure whether it was the situation or the holiday right around the corner,
You irritate
but the
me.
officers seemed to take my complaint very seriously.
I would hope so.
They told me they would park a car right across the street and monitor my house, and if anything were to happen, just to come outside and get them.
Make sure it's unmarked.
This put me at ease. So I went to work cleaning up all the broken ornaments and noticed that my tree had been moved slightly. Probably happened during the ornament smashing. Once everything had been cleaned up, I made some dinner, ate, and then went back to bed. It was difficult to sleep that night. I kept thinking that whoever it was that was breaking into my house would kill me in my sleep.
Damn.
I laid awake for hours before finally my eyes shut and I drifted off.
You got the Grinch creeping on you.
Christmas morning, I woke up and walked out into my living room. As soon as I rounded the corner, I saw it.
So what?
There was something sitting underneath my Christmas tree. It was a folded up piece of paper. I walked over to it and picked it up. The writing on the paper looked as if someone had written it in the dark. The note said, "Sorry about the ornaments. I accidentally knocked the tree over. Thank you for having me for Christmas.
Who?
I hope to visit you again
Nah.
next year."
Fuck that.
I immediately took the paper out to the officer who was sitting in the car. I asked him if he had seen anyone leave my house, and he said he didn't. Upon reading the note, he called in some backup, and they scoured my house from top to bottom. Later into the evening, we found out that someone had been living inside my house,
I figured that.
specifically the attic. Whoever they were had a bunch of newspapers laid out for a makeshift bed, some old TV dinner containers of mine, and a drawing of a Christmas tree. On the back of the drawing was writing that read, "Home for the holidays." I don't know who had been living in my attic for the past few days, but I checked with a realtor today and found out that she was actually friends with a family who previously lived in this house. Apparently, they had a 17-year-old son who had some type of disorder, and he had to be admitted into a nearby psychiatric institute. The family put the house up for sale not long after that. I told the police once I learned about this, and they checked in with the staff at the hospital. And the son in question had managed to overpower one of the orderlies and ran out of the institute. They've been looking for him ever since. I'm not really sure what to do at this point.
Move.
Right now, I'm heading to the airport to pick up Kate. And once she's back, her and I are probably going to spend the new year looking for a new home.
I know that's right.
And to the family who moves in after us, I hope you enjoy having guests for Christmas.
Unwanted.
Because I'm pretty sure he'll find a way to make it home for Christmas.
Again. Yep. Just like that. There's just this thing about people not making sure that their doors and all that shit is locked. Even if everything was locked, I double check. Triple check. Hell no. He was... Man, what? Man, y'all is tripping. On me, y'all is tripping. Just remote starting the car, because it's almost about time for me to get to work. I'd feel like if I was in his situation, again, get cameras. If I was in that situation, I'm getting some cameras to check out my house, and I'll be able to see it from my phone, from my tablet, from my laptop that I may or may not have, from my TV, if I could get it set up like that, anything. Cameras save lives most times. You might still get fucked up by whoever or whatever is in your house, but at least there will be footage of it. And as long as this person didn't have a mask, you should be good. However, if it's a creature or an animal, a mask really isn't relevant, because they don't know what that creature is, and you're going to be unrecognizable as soon as it gets you. So always triple check to make sure everything in the house is locked down right good and tight. Okay? But that is it for this video, y'all. If you like my reaction, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video. And if you really liked it, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. And tap that bell icon so you will be notified every time I drop new content, which I do on a weekly basis. That is all I got for y'all this time around. Your boy Steph is out.